Like what they've done with the place.
It loves cats.
Can't get enough of them.
It's Alf, and now it's everywhere.
He's debonair, and yet fuzzy. My parents just don't understand our relationship. I mean, this whole cat thing's been blown all out of proportion. Alf.
Alf, alien life form new from Coleco.
Popeye, here come those kids.
I got to remember what makes me tough enough to resist Cocoa Puffs, a chocolatey part of this complete breakfast.
Popeye, watch out!
I remember. It's gimme spinach. Disco makes me tough.
Popeye!
What's a munchie? Crunchy? Chocolatey Cocoa Puffs?
Yahoo! Let's go for Cocoa Puffs! Nobody's tough enough to resist Cocoa Puffs.
Even with gimme spinach.
Here they are, the lovely Twice as Fancy ponies. I'm Dancing Butterfly. I'm Sweet Tooth, and I'm up and away.
Twice as fancy, my little pony. You all look so pretty to me.
They're all so pretty, I could never pick a favorite.
Twice as fancy, my little pony. The most beautiful
Up, sit away.
Twice as fancy, my
They're
little
Sweet
pony.
Tooth.
I love looking at you.
Twice as Fancy My Little Pony, each sold separately from Hasbro.
It's circus fun right in your bowl, and you're gonna wanna come flying. We're horses and hoops, falls and bears, elephants and lions.
Me?
Horses, hoops, falls, bears, elephants and lions. New circus fun cereal, crunchy red hoops, speckled balls, and many marshmallow animals. Circus fun, a spectacular part of this complete breakfast.
Joe, you fixed your own breakfast. Got a secret treasure to keep safe? You can keep it in a keeper.
Keepers, keepers. What's inside those keepers?
Fancy the snail, Tango the ladybug, and Sheldon the turtle are keepers. Fun friends with a secret hiding place, each sold separately. And each keeper comes with its own finder, Twist, Nightlight, and Footloose.
Keepers, keepers. Keeps it safe inside.
Fancy and Footloose, Tango and Twist, Sheldon and Nightlight, each sold separately with brush key and storybook from Tonka.
Whoa! Feels like the wind's picking up, Sue. Yeah, kid. It's gonna pick up you and me. Time for a powerful Cheerios breakfast. A balanced breakfast like this one.
You got go with Cheerios, energy O's that help you grow. You got go with power, coming along with Cheerios. You're feeding us Cheerios.
A Cheerios breakfast.
When you yum it up with Bubble Yum Bubblegum, you could get swept away by winning one of 30,000 insanely tubular prizes in Bubble Yum's OP Surf Stakes, like a trip for two to OP's Pro Surfing Championship in California, or a fully cool Ocean Pacific wardrobe or swimsuit. To enter, send your name and address in either a Bubble Yum wrapper or a card with Bubble Yum and OP Surf Stakes written on it to Bubble Yum OP Surf Stakes, P.O. Box 7038, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, 08034. So get pumping and enter the Bubble Yum OP Surf Stakes.
Kids, help! Time for a balanced breakfast with Cheerios.
You got go with Cheerios, energy O's that help you grow. Feeding us Cheerios.
Why I Like Showbiz Pizza by Jennifer Marie Adams. Showbiz is where kids of all ages can have fun with rides, games, shows, and pizza. If you're a kid, I highly recommend you go. You could even bring your little brother.
You got it right, it's time for fun. And Showbiz Pizza gives her number one. You can dance, you can play, you can do it your way. Showbiz Pizza, where a kid can be a kid.
For parking my Corvette, the Matchbox Garage is the best you can get.
The place I park my horse and my Dodge is right here in the good old Matchbox Garage.
There's so much to do at the Matchbox Garage. I'll never get bored with my Model A Ford.
Matchbox Super Garage. Any way you set it up, it's the perfect place for all your Matchbox cars.
Parking my 57 Chevy was never this heavy.
You're not dreaming, it's a little dreamers.
They love making sweet dreams, you know.
You're not dreaming, it's a little dreamers.
That beautiful hair with the magical glow. I love their sparkly clothes. I love their glowing hair.
Beautiful hair with a magical glow.
It's no wonder I love them so. Thanks for the dream crystal.
You're not dreaming, it's a Moon Dreamers.
Moon Dreamers. For a limited time, each comes with a record. Starfinders come with a Star Friend.
Want to play some pool?
Who, me?
It's Bank Shot, an electronic pool game. You can queue up and shoot. For a break.
Wow!
You can play on cushion shots.
It went in!
Right. With Bank Shot, you can play straight pool, poison pool, and set up trick shots.
Tricky! Want to play some pool?
6 penlight batteries not included. Bank Shot, an electronic pool game new from Parker Brothers.
Big Zoom Stunt Plane. Up and down, round and round.
You can even hear the zooming sound
with Big Zoom Stunt Plane. Big Zoom Stunt Plane. Big Zoom Stunt Plane. Pop in the pilots, wind the handle, and you can make Big Zoom circle on the ground or fly high. Pilot 1 on Pilot 2.
What crazy stunts you can make them do
With Big Zoom Stunt Plane. Big Zoom Stunt Plane. Big Zoom Stunt Plane.
I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something, all right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, please, people, come on, we're adults here. You know what?
Adults.
What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay. Next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know. This channel is harsh reality.
Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of she was more of the prissy girl that like going
that is
and
the best shit fucking
shopping for dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that liked playing with
Shout out to Cherry for just being just easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys. Woo! Good evening, people. Happy Sunday, but more importantly, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there and the moms pulling double duty. You guys are amazing. I hope everybody's having a good day. Yeah, it's a small group today. I didn't realize there was so many live streams that were scheduled when I scheduled mine. But there's some great people that are live right now. But because I'm not really going to be doing much except we're going to be going over this dude. Jesus. Oh, this guy. This accident reconstructionist who clearly did not actually reconstruct the crime scene. This is just fascinating to me. It's like every single witness that Lolly calls up seems to be damning to their own case. Now the cell phone extraction expert who the prosecution called up the other day, she seemed to know her stuff and she seemed to know what she was talking about, but she also seemed to have quite an agenda. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. It was the way that she was answering those questions. She wasn't answering the questions in cross-examination that were that seemed like she was unbiased. If I'm being totally honest, it was very, very strange because she just would not give a straight yes or no answer. You could always tell the people who won't give straight yes or no answers, whether or not, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're lying, but it usually means they have some sort of agenda. This woman clearly had an agenda. And if I had to guess, it's the answer to 99 out of 100 questions. And what is the answer to 99 out of 100 questions, folks? Money. So, she was paid by the Commonwealth to testify, I'm sure, and that's fine. That's fine. But what was also interesting, yeah, Paul, idiot. What was also interesting though was she owns her own company. She has reason to promote herself. Shut up, Jerry. I thought it was interesting because I mean, why? If somebody isn't interested in getting to the truth, because clearly she would not give a straight answer as to was the 227 search, did the 227 search happen or not? And she kept dancing around that answer. It was really weird. Yannetti was very, very clear on his cross-examination. He only had a couple of questions. And she clearly had motivation to testify for the prosecution. I thought it was a little weird that I mean, because if I had to guess, is she a TikTok podcast digital forensic? See, that makes perfect sense, Microdots. That makes perfect sense. Because I mean, why couldn't she just say no? I mean, can you definitively say that the 227 search did not happen? Why couldn't she just say no? Because her answer was no. It was just dressed up with a lot of little sprinkles, you know? It was just weird. And what we're gonna do, like I said, we're gonna go over some of Homeboy's testimony, Trooper Paul. And this guy again, there's a lot of things wrong with the way that they conducted their tests. Because Lally, this is where Lally seems to be gaining some footing here, as far as his confidence goes. He seems to be getting being a little bit smarter. The overall way that he's presenting his case is absolute trash and garbage. But again, what he's doing though is he's giving a lot of misdirection, a lot of razzle dazzle, a lot of technical mumbo jumbo for the jury, that really doesn't prove anything. It doesn't actually place Karen Read anywhere. I mean, you could sit here all day and tell me all of these readings that you got off of her car, but if you don't have video footage of her actually hitting someone, you don't have an impact report, an impact whatever you call it, something that says that she hit something. I mean, it's fascinating to me that the prosecution, that Lally believes that the jury's going to just buy this. Because I got a lot of when I was looking at that jury, I got a lot of impression from them, that at least a few of them, that even though they didn't seem as though they were like, I mean, and looks can absolutely be deceiving. I'm just going by looking at somebody, which is probably totally inaccurate. What I'm saying is what I was imagining just by a glance at somebody and looking at what they look like and how they were reacting. There were certain people that seemed more street smart than book smart. And you're going to lose those people. Like, I feel like the minority was more book smart than street smart and common sense. And not even necessarily street smart, just plain common sense, just people who have been around the block. You know what I mean? There was only a couple that seemed to really be when I was watching them, that really seemed to be the type that would really engage in and understand a lot of the technical mumbo jumbo, or at least be fascinated by it, I should say. So if he thinks overall that boring the jury to death is a good strategy with a lot of technical talk that really seemed to only serve the purpose of confusing the jury. That's what it seemed like to me. Like it was, oh, Jen, thank you so much for the Venmo. I appreciate you. What does it say here? You are so dedicated to free care and read, and tick, tick, boom. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. It feels like Lally is really underestimating the intelligence of this jury. Because I think that he assumed that most of the jury is not very techie smart, necessarily educated in those ways. Maybe there's one or two, but the chances of all of them, or the majority of them, being able to fully understand everything that was going on is pretty slim in comparison to them being able to understand what Lally's tactic was. Lally's tactic was clearly to try to confuse them. So I would say, because it didn't prove anything. It proved absolutely nothing. And it was a really bad move on Lally in that sense, because also for the reasons that I just explained, but also because he's already presented his case in such a poor way. He's just now getting to this. When you're going to get, I would assume, now I'm not an attorney, I'm definitely not a trial attorney, but I would assume that if you're trying to win over the jury, right? If your goal is to win over the jury, then what you're going to want to do is keep them interested. And what you want to do, the last thing you would want to do is explain a bunch of techie shit that's over the average person's head. The last thing you want to do is do that after you've already lost the jury and you've already been notorious for boring them, even with the kind of witnesses that they've called up, and the defense has been able to wake the jury up by cross-examining them. Like, now this is just bad, because your strategy at this point is to get the juries interested in a lot of stuff that's probably going to go over their head so late into the trial, when they're saying, where's the evidence? They're already bored. They're already sick of being there. They already want to go back to their regular lives. This is taking already way longer than they expected it to take, than they were told it was going to take. Then they were told they should expect it to take. It's taking way longer than that. So it's very interesting to me that now Lally is going to think he's going to dazzle the jury with a lot of technical mumbo jumbo when it's just not. Okay, it's a little fascinating to know that a car that a car's computer system can record basically at what time, how fast the car was going, how much the pedal, at what percentage the pedal was going closest to the floor, at what point it was thrown into reverse. I mean, there's a lot of this stuff that's pretty I mean, there's a lot of this stuff that like, as far as that goes, that itself is interesting, but spending all the time on it that he did, all it did, in my opinion, all I can imagine after seeing what the jury looked like before, I imagine them just not being impressed at all. So this is just, yeah, very, very weird to me. Let's watch a little bit of it. I sped it up this time. But let's watch a little bit of it. Because I want to get, I mean, remember, Jackson had him on the stand and he cross-examined him, but it was voir dire. So the jury was not in the room. And so tomorrow morning, when that comes, the jury's going to be in the room, and Jackson was disgusted with this guy as it was. So he's had all weekend to prepare for this. If I remember correctly, and I think Microdots actually posted something, and I want to show that real quick. I think I reposted it. I mean, this is Karen and Alan Jackson today, Father's Day, and they're strategizing for tomorrow. As I said, this is the not fucking around defense team here. Oh my goodness. The mood is about to shift, folks.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Derek, thank you so much. Happy Dad's Day from Maine. Let's break the super chat cherry and buy Clover a bone for me. Let's have a great Monday. Stopping Crash Dummy. Yes, agreed. Thank you so much, Derek. I appreciate it. And yes, Clever will get a bone, I promise. Right on. Thank you so much for that, Derek. Oh God, fuck, man! Now you got Cherry drinking. Fuck. It's a bummer. I mean, this was posted today by Microdots, and there they are, the legal team strategizing on Sunday, Father's Day, and making sure that they totally destroy what this dude is doing. And we're going to go over this because when I go over this stuff live, I can't really go talk about it as much as I want. I do comment over it, but I don't comment over it nearly as much as I'd like to. I promise you that. But we're going to talk about, we're going to go over some of this stuff now. I'm not even sure if I have it queued up to where I want it to be. I mean, we could just go over this. Let's start with that.
Trooper Paul, direct your attention to what's up on the screen. That's now been marked as Exhibit 587.
Now, Olivia posted something that was fantastic. Let me see if I can find that real quick. In regards to this, Olivia posted something absolutely fantastic. I mean, it says right here, here, Trooper Joseph Paul and ADA Adam Lally, I fixed it for you. Looks like you forgot your white Jeep Wrangler with a snowplow. Oh, wait, are we cherry picking facts now to fit our narrative? Or are you saying your witness can't be trusted? And then I posted something in community and YouTube community about this. I kind of elaborated and piggybacked off it, which I'm going to do again right here. Now, I don't know if you can see my cursor here, but right here would be where Brian Higgins' Jeep was under multiple witnesses' testimony, including his own. He sat there on the stand and said that his Jeep was parked there the entire time, that from the time Karen's SUV pulled up and then up to the time that she left. Brian Higgins' Jeep with a plow right in front of it was there, just above where it says pedestrians final rest and glass cup and all that bullshit, like as if that matters, because none of that matters. What's really funny about that, and then the plastic straw, whatever, all of this stuff has been basically discredited because of the chain of custody, and simply because of Trooper Michael Proctor's lack of professionalism, lack of investigative integrity, and lack of overall conduct that would be becoming of a police officer. So everything that was found here is basically discredited, considering that he is the person in charge. And it was funny because when Tully takes the stand after him, he explains in extra detail what a lead investigator's position is, and what their responsibilities are. And he explains in absolute detail, and he even goes as far as to say that it's because so somebody can be held accountable. He said this in describing Proctor's position in this case. So it's interesting to me because I'm wondering if they're just going to go ahead and throw Proctor under the bus here.
Again, this is the last of the set of 4 diagrams, drone images that I presented for you.
Correct.
Now, with respect to the evidence, specifically pieces of taillight that are depicted within this diagram, did you put every single piece of taillight that was recovered on January 29th within this diagram?
No, I did not.
Fair to say you can also not put every piece of taillight that you were aware was recovered over the course of this investigation and depicted in this particular diagram.
That's correct.
Now, with respect to this particular area of Fairview Road.
Now, it's interesting. Why can't he put every single piece of taillight in this particular diagram, right? If he's reconstructing it, if he's reconstructing if he's reconstructing the crime scene, the alleged crime scene, if he's doing that, how is it that he's doing this properly if the whole reason he's reconstructing this crime scene is because they found pieces of taillight? So why can't he include all of the pieces of taillight in this particular diagram? It makes no sense. The only reason that I can think of to justify, which is not a justification, it's hardly a justification at all, why he would try to justify not being able to put all the pieces of taillight is because not all the pieces of taillight were found at this point. They were found. There were 5 other searches conducted, undocumented searches. And the first one being initiated by Chief Berkowitz, who just happened by 34 Fairview Road on a sunny, clear day and was like, "Oh, look at this! a piece of taillight. Better come out here and look for some more pieces of taillight, Proctor. I mean, let's get fucking real. This is ridiculous.
Yes. However, when you were there in the daytime, what, if any, notes did you take as to sort of overhead lighting or available for ambient street lighting in the area?
Yeah, so on the top corner, I'll try to up here, there's a light pole right there, overhead light pole.
And with relation to where you've marked as far as the final rest position of Mr. O'Keefe.
Well, I mean, it also makes no sense to me. Now, again, I'm not an investigator, but I think it's fair for us laymen's and civilians to question the investigative tactics at this point of the Massachusetts State Police. But at this point, I think it's fair to do that. So even if all the taillights, I mean, all the taillights aren't, all the pieces of taillight aren't there, wouldn't it still make sense to memorialize the taillights that they're already aware of and where they found them? Wouldn't that make sense? Why did he not even memorialize the taillight pieces that he found in this diagram?
Other areas of items of evidence that were recovered from the scene. Was there any lighting in that particular area?
There wasn't.
Ms. Gilman, you can take that down. Mr. Officer, we can now. Thank you very much. Now, turning your attention, sir, back to February 1st, 2022. At some point, you were at the Canton Police Department, correct?
Yes.
And where specifically within the Canton Police Department did you go?
To the back in the garage area.
And within the garage area, what if anything did you do in the garage?
In the garage area is where we imaged the airbag control module.
And so, I'm sorry, it's fair to say the vehicle, the defense vehicle, was located in that garage area.
That is correct.
And you imaged that vehicle, and what if anything else did you do with respect to that vehicle that day?
At that point, we just analyzed the damage to the vehicle.
Now, at some point, did you perform any sort of mechanical inspection of the vehicle?
Yes.
Was that day or at some later?
It was that day.
And was that within the garage area itself, or where did you perform the mechanical inspection?
We analyzed a little bit of the steering and the brake pedals while it was sitting in the garage. Then we did testing with it on the in the driveway next to Canton PD.
Now, sir, starting with a visual inspection of the vehicle. Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Well, no, I mean, that's not the entire reconstruction of the crime scene. That's just the drone map that he took a picture with a drone of the area.
I do.
And what do you recognize those to be?
They are crime scene photos that I've attached to my report.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth is seeking to introduce in a minute the next two exhibits.
Yep, sorry.
Thank you.
Your Honor, may I return those to the witness?
Yes.
And Your Honor, report submission.
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I don't think it was bad to present the spreadsheet. I could see how a spreadsheet. Let's get into that just for a second. Because I could see how a spreadsheet could be useful to explain to the jury something, right? To memorialize his findings, his notes, his you know what I mean? I get that. But what I'm saying is that the spreadsheet didn't prove anything. The spreadsheet only showed what he just put down. Like, if you put the spreadsheet along with actual data reports from the Lexus, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird to me, dude, that this dude is.
A moment, John.
Like that Lally thinks that the jury is going to just be like, oh my God. Well, that's very convincing. It's not, though.
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize that?
That's one of the crime scene photos that I attached to my report.
And what's contained in this is that very natural trail of sort of front of this vehicle looking at it from the passenger side.
Yes.
And so I'm assuming if I have the next photograph. And Trooper, do you recognize what's up on the screen now?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize that?
That's a crime scene photo that I attached to my report with notations that I made on it.
Okay. See, right there. Right there. Just look at that. How in the fuck is that the same taillight driving away No, I did not, Maris. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I have not. But how is that the same taillight driving away in the footage of John O'Keefe? I mean, this is what I'm talking about, is they expect the jury to be blind as well as stupid. Well, right. That picture is so misleading. If it would be so misleading if if we didn't have video footage of her driving away from John O'Keefe's property after 5 a.m. Hours after the supposed murder took place. Welcome, Spirit Walker. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Sally Port shenanigans for sure. Fucking for sure, dude. Like, that is not the same taillight driving away. And this is what I like. And what's funny is all the defense showed. This was the defense. This was the prosecution who showed this. All the defense showed was the close-up of John's SUV's tire moving when Karen backed into it. But the video itself, the prosecution showed as evidence. And they act like there's not going to be somebody on that jury that's not going to be like, during deliberations, isn't going to be like, hold on a second. Look, I mean, I'm telling you, you're going to tell me that that picture right there is consistent with the footage of Karen Reed driving away after she clearly just hit John O'Keefe's car? I mean, it makes no sense that they think that this is going to fly.
And what's contained in this photograph is that a fair and accurate portrayal of what you observed in the rear passenger side area of the defendant's vehicle in the garage on February 1st.
Yes, it is.
Now, step back a little bit here. With regards to what you've noted within this, if you could, using the laser pointer before you, just direct the jury's attention to what, if anything, of significance you observed in your inspection of this area of the Lexus.
Okay. So on the left side here, I put down the scratches, and there's a dent there. The broken taillight here was here. There's some scratches on the bottom.
Oh my
right rear bumper
God,
here.
dude.
And there was glass from a cutback on the bumper.
Okay,
As far as
dude.
glass on the bumper, what, if any, observations can you make of that in relation to?
Stop.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Thank you, Penn. Look, I mean, more misdirection. And I love it because people, as I understand it, Plevin made a new video, which we'll go over. But I'm trying to wrap my mind around this strategy here. This is ridiculous. Like, this dude expects, I mean, we're gonna get to that, but this dude expects us to believe that this piece of the taillight right here smashed on John O'Keefe's arm, on his elbow specifically, and then caused, and then the impact shrapnel caused all of the lacerations going down his arm in the same direction, and his glass that he was apparently holding somehow caused this dent in Karen Reed's SUV above the taillight.
Appear to be from a cup as opposed to any glass that came from the vehicle.
Objection. So I'll strike
Right.
the first part of the answer, but
Of course, Jackson's going to object to that. How the fuck do you know that, dude? How do you know that? Let's hear that one more time.
The vehicle itself.
Appear to be from a cup as opposed to any glass that came from the vehicle.
objection. So I'll
See,
strike the
he
first part of the
specifies
answer,
right
the
there.
second part will stand.
It appears to have come from a cup, rather than any glass from the vehicle. Well, we know it didn't come from any glass on the vehicle because there's no fucking glass that's broken. First of all, the taillight is plastic. So, did you test any of that to find out anything? Did you actually test the glass? But they say they did. I don't believe they did, but they say they did.
I no objection. Thank you. Now, with regard to the dent that you've delineated,
Right, exactly.
any measurements from the ground as to where that was located?
Yes, I did.
And how far did you measure the dent to be approximately from the ground?
Approximately 48 to 50 inches from the ground.
And what many measurements did you take as far as from one part of the vehicle to the other, as far as where the dent was located?
Yeah, so it was approximately 19 inches from the right side of the vehicle.
Now, the scratches that you were talking about before, where were they in relation to the dent?
Right above the dent. I can see right there. As my hand's shaky.
Now, as far as you obviously also made observations.
Why is your hand shaking so goddamn much, bro?
Yes.
And so, from what you observed, the driver's side tail light versus the
Like, because if we were watching this live, I would defend him. People would be like, why is your hand so shaky, dude? And I would be like, well, I mean, he's testifying in open court. Maybe he's a newbie to it, you know? I mean, it's a nerve-wracking thing. He's all over the fucking, he's broadcast all over the world right now. Everybody knows everybody's watching this dude. But the thing is we find out later as to why he's so damn shaky.
What, if any, observations did you make as far as the color of the pieces that you found missing from the passenger side tail?
As compared to the left side of the taillight?
Yes.
So on the left side of the taillight, there was red and clear plastic pieces.
Now, the scratch marks along the bumper, did you take any measurements with relation to them?
Yes.
And specifically, did you take measurements from the ground to where they were located?
Yes.
What did you measure those?
They were approximately 27 to 28 inches from the ground.
Thank you. Come in, you can take that now.
The thing is, who fucking knows? Who fucking knows what motivation this guy has?
A mechanical inspection of a vehicle. Just first
Is he scared of the Alberts?
What is it that you're doing with respect to the vehicle in order to conduct that?
Is he scared of Proctor? Is he
So
scared
when we
of
do mechanical
Tully?
inspections, we're obviously checking the steering, make sure the steering moves properly, the brake pedals, make sure they are firm, make sure the sail pedal moves back and forth. Just generally looking at the tires, make sure there's no issues with the vehicle.
And what, if any, observations that you make of the vehicle itself as far as any defects or anything to do with the brake
For
or the
real.
other areas that you expect?
We didn't observe any mechanical defects with the vehicle.
Now, with relation to the weight of the vehicle, what, if any?
I don't know if
what,
we'll
if
be
any,
able to
do
see
you
Tuesday.
determine as to the weight of the Lexus?
The way the Lexus side,
I hope so. Auntie Bev could like fuck that up, you know, but I hope so. Because we see all the other Void Deer, so why can't she just let us see this Void Deer? But she may not do it just to not risk the jury seeing it, but they're not supposed to be fucking looking at anything anyway. Case VH, thank you so much. Welcome. Appreciate you. Oh my goodness, what?
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad.
QZ Farm, thank you so much. When Proctor was on Cross, Jackson mentioned the mile walk through the tees to the school. Through the trees to the school? Or okay. I wonder what the defense has on that. Maybe footage of Colin. I don't know. That's a good question. Because again, you got to understand the defense hasn't even presented their case yet. You know, so. But yo, look at this dude's fucking noggin, bro. Like this dude did not just take a bic to that shit, bro. Like this dude got one of those fucking razors that you see like on Instagram commercials, bro. Like look at this thing. And then it just like it cuts everything like as close to the skin as absolute possible. Like really testing like the derm and what it can do. Like this dude's shit is smooth, bro. Like he's even got an all over like tan on it too. You know what I mean? Like he keeps that shit like that. He keeps that shit like that. I mean, that dude is Professor X incarnate right here, dude. Like Todd McFarlane would draw this dude, like light source and everything included. This is this dude really fucking works that shit out. No, I mean, he's got eyebrows, you know what I mean? And he shaves his head. Like, that's a choice. He's barely balding. Like, you could see the hairline in the front, you know? Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's laser shit right there. That shit is fucking like, dude. That dude fucking waxes that shit. That shit is wild, man.
Side man was an analysis was just based on I think I have the gross vehicle weighting for the vehicle.
And how much did the vehicle weigh according to the gross weight?
I think it was approximately 7,000 pounds.
Now, with respect to the lights of the vehicle and being the tail lights and the headlights, what if anything?
That's what I'm saying. He's got one of those razors that contour to the shape of your head, bro. Like they bend, like put it to your head and it like bends to the shape of your head. Just like, and you know he's creaming that shit up too. You know what I mean? He's creaming that shit up. He's like putting it on like a layer, you know, like all the perfect consistent, like everything is thought out. Everything is like straight up, you know, like I think of the 40-year-old virgin, right? He's giving Higgins like advice on how to like hit on women. You think this is an accident? Premeditated, partner. You know that Higgins, this is the dude that Higgins is going to like, hey man, how do you do it? I don't know, dude. Like, what's up? What do you I don't know what to tell you, man. You like the chick, bro. You know? Fucking recite some fucking, you know, Alanis Morissette, isn't it ironic or some shit, or whatever the fuck, dude. What are you asking me for? Jesus.
You determine those to be as part of what type of lights were they?
They were LED. Both their headlights and taillights were both LED type.
And if you could just expound a little as far as LED lights, what if any significance does that have to you, or what kind of lights are LED? How bright are LED lights?
LED can, well, most comparison to what most people think in car and tail lights, where they have the bulbs, where they have the filaments. LED is more electronically controlled. Because you know, there's a sensor that will light up, as opposed to a bulb type headlight and tail lights.
Now, are you familiar with an organization called NHTSA?
Yes.
And what does NHTSA stand for?
It's the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
And what, if anything, did you do with regard to NHTSA in respect to this vehicle itself?
We ran the vehicle through NHTSA to see if there's any recalls on the vehicle.
And what, if any, recalls did you discover when you ran this particular vehicle?
There were no recalls.
And to be specific,
I mean, I don't want to make these insinuations. I'm reluctant to do it. But why, when I picture like a Massachusetts State Police in full dress uniform with the thing going across and everything, the whole goddamn spiel, dude, and every dirty motherfucker that works for the MSP that fucking sat up there and testified, every dirty fucking shit cop, like, have their head shaved. Like, I just can picture them fucking goose stepping. Is that fucking crazy that I just, like, I'm not saying they're Nazis. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, it's not a stretch to picture these dudes goose stepping. You know what I mean? Like, looking to the left, looking to the right. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, like, goose stepping, dude.
we're talking about this specific vehicle as opposed to just Lexuses in general, make and model, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we put the VIN into the system, and it will tell you if this vehicle has any recalls to it.
Now, you indicated on February 1st at some point you did some testing with the vehicle. Is that correct?
Correct.
And where was that testing done, and what did it consist of?
It was done in the parking lot of Canton PD on the same day. We did a forward braking test, a reverse braking test, and a reverse acceleration test.
Now, the parking lot of the Canton Police Station where you did this, what kind of roadway surface was that?
It's an asphalt surface.
So similar
Listen,
to an asphalt surface.
Cherry gets mad at me. Look,
Correct.
Cherry gets mad at me. You know why she says that? Cherry gets mad at me because I tell her just to piss her off mostly, but I tell her that Nazi uniforms look cool. Like, it's a shame that they're, you know, like the worst fucking group of people to ever exist in history. Like, it's such a shame because they're fucking, those motherfuckers could dress cool, bro. Like, every time you see like a Nazi with a lot of power, dude, he's wearing a fucking dope ass, long ass fucking leather duster, like in fucking Always Sunny. Like, I mean, those uniforms were attractive. They're all black and shit. You know what I mean? Like, all I'm saying is that, like, I could see the appeal as far as the uniforms go if you were living in fucking Nazi Germany. And being like, yeah, that's the uniform I want to wear. Like, I mean, but there's no excuse for being like, well, you know, I mean, the killing of Jews, though, you know, if that doesn't like steer you away from the Nazi uniform, the cool looking uniform, I mean, come on, you know, because that's enough for me. I mean, I'll be like, yo, those uniforms are dope. Okay. What am I doing? Killing who? How many? Yeah, nah, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to do that. I mean, they could have like smartened up, you know, but I'm telling you, the uniforms looked cool, dude. That's all I'm saying.
Correct.
And what was the condition of the roadway as far as how dry or wet was the roadway when you conducted these acceleration races?
It was wet at the time.
And with respect to your understanding of January 29th, 2022, with the asphalt surface of 34 Fairview Road, what was the condition weather-wise as far as that roadway surface at the time of this collision?
At the time of the collision?
Yes.
What I'm saying is it was snowy, so the asphalt road had been fairly wet from snow.
Now, when you conducted these acceleration and braking tests,
It didn't smarten up. You're right.
What, if anything, did you, what, if any tool or what, if any implement did you use in the course of that test?
Use a device called it's called a V-Box. It's a V-Box Sport. The device is attached to the windshield, and it's also attached by an antenna that goes to the roof. And then basically V-Box, can we explain what V-Box is? Okay. So a V-Box is just to measure performance for the vehicle. It uses GPS data to measure the speeds and its location. Use that just to, it'll give us how fast we were stopping, a drag factor for the roadway for that specific vehicle and type of road, and acceleration factors. So we attach that to the windshield, just kind of give me a way to check its acceleration, check its performance.
And sorry, one moment. Sure. So the V-Box is attached to that vehicle, so it's what specifically is it measured?
So yeah, it's using the GPS data to apply its location. And
I do love
it's
my
measuring its speeds and using the speed and the location.
Shut up, dude, for a second. I do love my blue coffee cup. I've had this blue coffee cup for ever, since I started live streaming, and I've used it every time I've live streamed, fucking every time. Except for I think I streamed from a hotel once, I think. Yeah, that was a long time ago. But it's just because I wasn't, you know, near my studio. But yeah, it was that long ago. It was that long ago. I mean, as like at least 5 years I've been streaming, and I've used it every single stream. Somebody even made a troll account a long time ago, Will's Blue Cup or something like that. That's a long time ago. It was funny.
Putting that together, and once you use the app through the V-Box, and it set certain parameters as like you can go out 30 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour, 10 miles per hour, and it'll set your vehicle. So when you go to 30 miles per hour, it'll tell you what you're doing at 30, what you're doing at 20, what you're doing at 10, and then it'll know if you're doing braking or acceleration tests. So use those numbers that you have to give you, your acceleration factor or braking factor for the vehicle.
And so from the V-Box Sports device that you use, and you've received training as it applies to using that device?
Yes, I do.
And certification as well?
It's usually just the training on it.
Now, with respect to the V-Box Sport as it's attached to that vehicle, that's measuring specifically from that vehicle with those tires on that roadway surface that day, correct?
That's correct.
Now, with regards to that testing on that day, you did some acceleration or reverse acceleration tests, is that correct?
Correct.
And how many of those tests did you conduct?
2.
And describe to the jury sort of how you conducted those tests or what speeds you were using or sort of that process of the 2 reverse acceleration tests that you conducted that day.
So the reverse acceleration test we conducted, we set the parameters up to 25 miles per hour. So what we did is we try to come from a stop at 0 and then press the accelerators about as hard as I could press it and try to go back and see how fast I can get to 25 miles per hour and see what the performance they did at that time.
And what if any kind of data?
Well, that's just great. But did you do that fucking anywhere near the actual alleged crime scene? No, I don't think you did. Did you factor in the road, what it's made of, like the texture of the road? Did you factor in was there any curves? Did you have a curb next to you when you did it? Why didn't you just, I mean, dude, Turtle Boy fucking recreated I think he rented a Lexus or no, he had his own Lexus, I think. I don't even know, but he used the Lexus and went to 34 Fairview and conducted his own experiment to try to recreate it and could not recreate it properly. Could not match what it's wrong to say that he couldn't do it properly. What I'm saying is he could not get the result that the prosecution's theory led to. Simple. Not only him, but Benjamin John, who I haven't seen in a minute, but Benjamin John was in my chat and he showed me that he conducted the same experiment. No, there's no way you could do this. And there's no way that, I mean, at the very least, if you're going to reconstruct this crime scene, why wouldn't you do it at 34 Fairview? Why would you not do that? It makes no sense.
With the V-Box Sport using during those two reverse acceleration tests.
It gave me an acceleration factor. It gave me its speeds and times and distances that it was at each location.
And if you could explain,
hey, Liz Reed.
Acceleration factor, what is?
Yeah, happy Father's Day to Bill. I witnessed Dad have a great Father's Day today. Hope all you dads did as well. Now back to Allentown for tomorrow's cross. Right on. All right.
What is an acceleration factor?
It's just a number of how fast the vehicle could travel from an acceleration. It could be a light acceleration to a medium acceleration.
Dude, yeah,
they all have a
like
different number that you can use too.
Vinnie Politan even went to 30. He even had enough common sense that you fucking go to 34 Fairview, Mr. Like, I mean, if he's the Pecos Bill of fences, this guy. He rides fences like Pecos Bill rides tornadoes. This dude. And he even had enough common sense to go to 34 Fairview and try to recreate the prosecution's theory. Come on, like, and Massachusetts State Police didn't have enough inclination to do this.
To kind of relate it back to what the acceleration is for that vehicle.
And what was the acceleration factor that you were able to obtain with those two reverse acceleration tests?
I believe this was had 0.317, I believe.
Now, during the course of those the reverse acceleration tests that you conducted on that day, what, if anything, did you know? Well, let me ask this. As far as the operation of the vehicle, who was actually physically operating the vehicle?
I was actually operating the vehicle.
They're trying to mislead the jury. See, here's the thing there is a consistent theme here of the prosecution trying to confuse the jury. That is a defensive tactic. That is not I mean, if you are under the moral and ethical obligation of seeking justice by being a prosecutor for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in the United States of America, if you're under this moral and ethical obligation to get to the truth, why is every tactic avoiding the truth? And the defense seems to uncover this consistently as well. So at this point, it's a wonder why the prosecution's even moving forward, but it's a wonder that they even think that the jury is fooled at all at this point.
What, if anything, did you know during your operation of that vehicle during the reverse acceleration test that you conducted?
We also noted the accelerator pedal moved freely. There was no binding. There was no interference from anything on the floor. Nothing interfered with the accelerator pedal. It worked as it was supposed to.
And when you're doing this reverse acceleration test, are you going? How are you, if at all, are you manipulating the steering wheel at all, or is it a straight line test, or how is the test? How is the vehicle directed during the test?
So I try to keep it fairly straight.
And when you accelerated in reverse in a fairly straight fashion with the steering wheel, what, if anything, did you note about that?
They kept the vehicle fairly straight. There was no, it was fairly easy to keep control of.
Now, in addition to the 2 reverse acceleration tests, what, if any, testing did you do with regard to reverse braking?
Yeah, so we conducted 2 reverse braking tests.
And again, similar, can you describe to the jury, this is also with the V-Box board attached, is that correct?
Correct.
So you're obtaining data from that as well?
Yes.
And during the course of the reverse braking test, what, if anything?
I mean, ask Bob. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, ask Bob. That's what I'm trying to say.
Fast with these tests being conducted, what, if anything, was input, and what, if any, data did you receive from?
Yeah, so the reverse braking one, we try to get up to about 30 miles per hour, and then once we get up to that speed,
Like
that's when we
that. I mean, it might just be because like I've been watching this thing on Netflix because I like documentaries, right? And I've been watching this thing on Netflix about Hitler and the Nazis, and then I was talking to Cherry about it, and I think that's how that came up. But yeah, like there's and I've been watching it like kind of slowly because I have like major ADHD. And like there's times where I binge watch stuff, and then there's times where it takes me fucking forever to get through a series, and I never watch anything live ever. Like I always like watch it through a streaming service. And so like there's this new like Hitler and the Nazis kind of thing, where there's like a trial of like Nazi people, which is kind of interesting too. And I think that's what really like made me like click on it, because I wanted to see this trial. And well, that's the thing, is it explained how he got into power. I don't want to get into a whole history lesson on it now, but it was wild, like how Hitler got into power. It was insane. It was just insane. Like it was all at just the right time, and the right guy who knew how to speak just the right way to get people to listen, you know, to get just the right people to listen to that. Like all of these things came into play, much like OJ Simpson's defense. Like all these things just came together at the right time for fucking shitbag Hitler. And it was like, wait a second, what? Like this guy, he attempted a fucking coup at a bar and failed, and then managed to like get appointed the chancellor. Like, and the dude just ended up winning everyone over. It's bizarre. It's totally bizarre. Yeah, it's super bizarre. I could go on and on about it. It's very, very, very strange. But yeah, it just, you never know, man. Like it's crazy. People, the majority of people, like if they're desperate enough and you've got somebody just catching them at just the weak moment, it's very similar to like a pimp getting a vulnerable girl at just the right time to turn her out. As fucked up as an analogy as that is, it's the best I can think of, because it's kind of what that is. It's taking full advantage, taking someone who is in a vulnerable state and then going, hey, I'm going to take care of you, and I'm going to make sure everything's okay. All these things that you're worried about, I am going to be the one to take care of it. And people aren't paying attention to this whole dismissal of democracy thing, where he's saying me is going to be the one to take care of it for you. And people are desperate and they're like, sure. And then before you know it, they love the guy and he's totally in power and he's trying to annihilate an entire race of people. It's fucking wild. And the rest of the world is going, what in the fuck is going on over there? No, Hitler was Austrian, wasn't he? Well, I mean, I mean, yeah, it's fucking terrible, dude. Like, it's fucking terrible. Like, this dude was just the epitome of pure evil. And it's not like even exaggerated when you like, if you actually learn the history, it's not even exaggerated as to like when people talk about him as this epitome of pure evil. Like it's not an exaggeration. Like this documentary I've been watching is spot on and breaks down how he's so fucking evil. It's crazy. And the truth is, he's just a weak little insecure man. Like that's what it boiled down to. Is he was a weak little insecure man who just knew how to speak really well publicly. That's what it boils down to.
When we apply the brakes, try to brake the brakes fairly hard to try to get the vehicle to stop.
And are you also familiar with the term known as a deceleration factor?
Oh
Correct.
man, I don't know.
It's just essentially the opposite of what.
I don't even know the name of the documentary. You just get it's on Netflix and it was just added. So like if you go to Netflix, if you have Netflix, just go to like, I don't know, just search Hitler and a bunch of shit will pop up, but just click on the most recent one that refers to a trial.
To the acceleration factor. This is a number for how fast the vehicle would slow down.
And with regard to the deceleration factor from the two reverse braking tests that you conducted on that date, what if any figure did you receive from the instrument from the D-box score?
For the reverse braking? I believe this one was so Sally gets to get you a drag factor number for this vehicle too, and it's our deceleration factor, which both are used the same way. This one was a point, I think it was 7.1.
Yeah, this is turning into a whole Hitler fucking history thing. But like, dude, Hitler was like, he took public speaking to like the next level. Like he straight up had like a coach. And he would like, yeah, Evil on Trial, I think. Yeah, Liz Reed. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. And dude, he had a photographer like photograph him practicing public speaking. It is wild, man. This dude was the most narcissistic piece of shit ever. And like, I mean, he would like, he had like a private photographer just photograph him like just being the best fucking dude in the world, you know, with his little micro penis. I mean, I don't even know if Hitler had micro penis. That's a rumor. He sure seems like it, though. I mean, those are some serious micro penis vibes. I mean, straight up.
Parts. Again, you're operating the vehicle during these two reverse braking tests. Is that correct?
Yes, I was.
And what, if anything, did you note in regards to the operation of the vehicle when you were conducting these two reverse braking tests?
Yeah, the brake pedal was firm. There was no pulsation from the brake.
Now, in addition, sir, were you able to conduct some forward braking tests?
Yes, I was.
And similar again, could you describe to the jury as far as how you were operating the vehicle during the forward braking test?
Yes, essentially the same thing as reverse. If I was going forward this time, I got up to 30 miles per hour, and I would just apply the brakes about as hard as I could apply them to the stops.
And again, are you receiving from the instrument some sort of deceleration factor?
Yes, I was.
Do you recall what that was?
Yeah, it was a 0.69.
And during the course of your operation of the vehicle during forward braking tests, again, what, if anything, do you note in regards to the operation of the fence vehicle?
Same as before, that brake pedal was firm. There was no pulsation, no issues.
Now, you talked a little bit about ACM or an airbag control module, correct?
Correct.
You indicated earlier in your testimony that you had downloaded information from that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, when you download that information, what, if anything, do you get from the vehicle, or what, if any, how are you able to sort of read or interpret that data?
So in the airbag control model, it's equipped with a spot event data recorder on EDR. And in that data from the EDR, we will use the Boss EDR software and we'll attach to the vehicle. And then that software will basically extract the information or image the information that's in the module. And so that information could range from getting us speeds, if there was braking, if there was steering wheel movements, basically like looking for change of velocity, that type of. So a lot of information around the vehicle.
Yes.
See, the thing is none of this means shit. None of this means shit.
Your documents are 7 pages in length,
Because they're not even placing her.
Do you recognize that document, sir?
I do.
What do you recognize that to be?
This is the document that gets printed out through from the airbag control model through the crash out retrieval software.
They're not placing John O'Keefe in any way, shape, or form behind the vehicle. None of this means anything. Okay, so she fucking drove. Got it, dude.
Yes.
Come up, please.
What do you mean?
No objection. Now, sir, when it comes to the CDR printouts, or let me ask you this. When it comes to the airbag control module, who is that designed to protect or to apply to in respect to safety measures with vehicles?
Applies to the occupants inside the vehicle.
And this may sound a little terse when I say it, but essentially the airbag control module is typically not designed to protect people on the exterior or the outside of the vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Now, you've been involved in a number of crash investigations involving pedestrians, correct?
Yes.
And as far as this particular case, what, if any, sort of useful or significant information were you able to interpret or retrieve from the ACM?
And this through the software, there was no data recovered or no events recovered.
And when it comes to pedestrian crashes in general, and as far as there being no data in this case,
Or no-
were you able to?
Okay.
And as far as this particular case, what, if any, sort of useful or significant information were you able to interpret or retrieve from the ACM?
And this through the software, there was no data recovered or no events recovered.
And when it comes to pedestrian crashes in general, and as far as there being no data in this case, is that something that's abnormal?
It is not.
Explain to the jury.
Okay, so now he's just explaining away why they didn't have any actual data recovered from that particular program. Let's see what that means one more time.
Document, sir?
I do.
What do you recognize that to be?
This is the document that gets printed out through from the airbag control model through the crash out retrieval software.
Thank you. May I approach anyone?
Yes.
Come up, please introduce
Okay, so the airbag control module, right? So this is the airbag control, and he's saying that there's no data that was retrieved from that. Probably because the airbag never fucking deployed. Why didn't the airbag deploy? Probably because she never actually hit anything.
No objection. Now, sir, when it comes to the CDR printouts,
Right.
Let me ask you this: when it comes to the
And right, why would the airbag deploy in reverse? I mean, it might, because like if you hit something in reverse, I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess if you slam on the brakes, it might deploy, but I don't really know how airbags work, so I can't really talk on that. I don't really know.
the airbag control module, who is that designed to protect or to apply to in respect to safety measures with vehicles?
Applies to the occupants inside the vehicle.
And this may sound a little terse when I say it, but essentially the airbag control module is typically not designed to protect people on the exterior or the outside of the vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Now, you've been involved in a number of crash investigations involving
Thank you, Jen Shepherdson. I bet we see the medical examiner tomorrow. Tuesday is all voir dire, and the Commonwealth resting supposedly. I hope. That's an interesting speculation as to what we have to expect this week in trial. That's what I'm trying to wonder. I'm wondering what the voir dire is about. What's the voir dire for? But the medical examiner might be a good reason for the voir dire. Maybe they're expecting to get to her sometime tomorrow afternoon and expecting to voir dire the cross-examination all day on Tuesday. That's probably what they're going to do. That makes sense. If the medical examiner is supposed to testify tomorrow, then that would make sense. You're simply the best, better than all the rest. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, April sings. I would absolutely expect that would be the case. And seeing as there's a lot of issues with the lack of there's a lot of issues with with her conclusions as far as the medical examiner's report. I mean, if the cause of death or the manner of death or whatever is considered undetermined, or whether they determine it homicide or whether it's a suicide, that determination comes out to be undetermined, and it says so. And it was funny because I think that the prosecution filed a motion to where that had to be redacted from the medical examiner's report for the jury. But the problem was it didn't matter. They didn't care. The defense didn't care because Trooper Proctor read text messages between him and his colleagues that gave away that was what the medical examiner's determination was. So whether or not, it says it was undetermined, and he was salty about it and said that she was a fucking, what did he call her? A fucking nutbag or whatever. So he calls the medical examiner a nutbag for making it undetermined. And so it also indicates that he had a problem with this conclusion. So he's pissed off. He's pissed off that the medical examiner came to this conclusion. What's going to happen here, I believe, at least during cross-examination, is she's going to have to explain why she came to this undetermined conclusion. Whack job. Okay, thank you. Not nut job, whack job. Thank you. I find that very interesting. Because the voir dire, I think, is going to determine what questions they can ask, so on and so forth, or at least what questions the jury can hear and what answers the jury can hear. But she's in a tough spot because this is going to be a big deal in the case. The fact that they never got a homicide conclusion. It never said cause of death is a homicide. The fact that it never said that is a big deal. Every other case that I've ever seen, how do you know that the voir dire is for the federal witness? I mean, it seems like it would be for the federal witness. Maybe. I don't know. That was my first guess, but it would make sense that it be for the medical examiner as well. But I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Okay, so it is for all the defense experts. I don't think it's for the dog bite. They don't have dog bite experts. I don't know. I don't know if they're calling any dog bite experts, but I'm not 100% sure. I did not go over the court motions and paperwork. I have not gone over that. I don't know. Yeah, no, you mentioned the jury's motion. I just had not had a chance to go over it yet. But yeah, I mean, we're going on what, like week 8? So it's like, yeah, we're going over like, yeah, we're going on like week 8 when the literally double the time that the prosecution said that it would take for them to present their case. Okay, Sarah Boo. See, that's why I love you guys. They said in court it would be for the defense experts, and that yes, it will be also for the dog bite experts. She is an ER doctor. Okay. All right. No, that's beautiful. That's fantastic. Well, right. I mean, that's what this is what dude, there's so many women on that jury. I'm telling you right now, Proctor's testimony did not go over well for the prosecution at all. Oh, I seriously doubt it. And I think it's interesting. I mean, when you have I think it's interesting that the governor spoke out about how disgusting Proctor's behavior was and how his conduct was, but why? I mean, so obviously the governor is paying attention to this case, because I mean, one could wonder. I mean, because I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, well, now that the governor has made this public statement in regards to Proctor's behavior, why haven't we heard or seen any action from the Massachusetts State Police? Why is Michael Proctor still on active duty? Better question is, why does the Massachusetts State Police think it's a good look for them to continue with Michael Proctor on active duty after the governor publicly condemned Proctor's behavior? Because it wasn't just Proctor's behavior. One of the biggest issues with that was the fact that Proctor was bragging to his superiors. So it was his superiors. Yeah, ask Bob. I'm getting that impression. I don't think that she gives a shit about anything. I don't think she gives a shit about anything. But it can't be a good move for her politically, for her to say these things and just say words and then not take any action at all whatsoever. I mean, it is the Massachusetts State Police. She has, I would say, some jurisdiction over what takes place there and what doesn't. So, I mean, if you're running for re-election, I don't know if she is or not. I don't know. But if she's running for re-election, wouldn't it make sense to take some sort of action to make an example out of at least Michael Proctor and the Massachusetts State Police, pressure the higher ups in the Massachusetts State Police to take some sort of action? At least take him off, at the very least, the minimum, take him off active duty while they investigate him internally. So I'm trying to understand, man. Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around what the end game for these people are. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like, these people have to answer for what they did. You'd think that they would be getting ahead of it now, or at least trying to. because the longer that Michael Proctor stays on active duty, and the longer that his superiors aren't reprimanded to send a message for encouraging this shitty behavior, the longer that this takes place, the worse that this looks for the governor. You know, I mean, so I don't understand. And I was listening to I think her name is that lawyer chick, something like that. That Melanie Little was on her channel earlier. I'm kind of new to her channel, so I didn't I'm bad with names. But Natalie Lawyer Chick, thank you so much. Jen Shepherdson, thank you. Bev wants to grill the experts because they had one report with all their names on it, and she doesn't know who'd. Oh, okay, I remember that now. Thank you. Yes, that makes perfect sense. No, I wasn't just calling her a chick. That's her name of her channel. I wasn't just being like some lawyer chick. No, Natalie Lawyer Chick is her name, her channel name. So yeah, I wasn't. So when people are like Emily Baker, no, I wouldn't refer to Emily Baker as just some lawyer chick. I wouldn't do that. But Melanie Little was on there, and they were talking about that too. Like, how can they even be? Okay, thank you so much. All right, now I've got it. Appreciate it, Cherry. What would I do without Cherry? Yeah, it's just it makes no sense that this is the overall message that's being sent right now is that the Massachusetts State Police endorses this kind of behavior and this type of conduct during a murder investigation of a police officer. That's the message that's being sent everywhere right now, which is fascinating. Here, let me pull this up real quick. No. Hold on. I'm gonna download it. Oh, I don't know if it's going to let me look at it. You might have to send it to me in another way. Oh, okay. Here we go. I got it. Let me see. All right. So, this would be the reason for the voir dire on Tuesday. This is helpful. Thank you. On April 15th, 2024, the day prior to trial, the defendant, now this is filed by, this is the Commonwealth's renewed motion for reciprocal discovery and motion to exclude defendant expert Dr. Marie Russell. Okay. On April 15th, 2024, the day prior to trial, the defendant provided the Commonwealth with a witness list which contains the names of civilians, police defense investigators, and experts. On April 22nd, 2024, the Commonwealth filed Commonwealth's renewed motion for reciprocal discovery and renewed request for voir dire of any proposed defense experts during that week of jury impanelment. The defendant was ordered to comply within 1 week with Massachusetts criminal 14th, April 29th, 2024. Opening statements were made and the trial testimony commenced. The defendant sporadically provided reciprocal discovery to the Commonwealth on May 1st, 2024 and May 7th, 2024. And this is what they were talking about here. Let me do this real quick. I'm just going to skip past all this shit. So I'm going to keep reading this. Hold on a second. I just wanted to cue this up. I love this shit right here. Watch Jackson as this douchebag walks by. Look at Jackson. Get your fucking ass out of here, douchebag. We didn't even go over that yet,
So
but
you're
we
willing to
will.
exclude this. I'll hear you, Mr. Jackson.
Your Honor, it's very clear that this is a blatant constitutional violation. Commonwealth has at least the obligation to provide us with any new opinions that any expert's going to testify to on direct examination. They know about this witness.
Okay, that's not what this is. Okay, never mind. Sorry, guys. You guys are seeing my ADHD like totally at work here. All right, I'm just going to continue reading this. Then we'll go over that again. Don't worry, we're going to go over that again. I promise. All right. On April 15th, 2024, the day prior to trial, the defendant provided a Commonwealth with a witness list which contains the name of civilians, police, defense investigators, and experts. On April 22nd, 2024, the Commonwealth filed Commonwealth's renewed motion for reciprocal discovery and renewed request for voir dire of any proposed defense experts during that week of jury impanelment. The defendant was ordered to comply within 1 week with blah, 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 opening statements and were made and the trial testimony commenced. The defendant sporadically provided reciprocal discovery to the Commonwealth on May 1st, 2024 and May 7th, 2024. Defendant's discovery obligations includes impeachment evidence, allowing the defendant to withhold such evidence against a witness who is certain to be called to testify, would undetermine the discovery rules, and allow attorneys to return trial by ambush. Theatrics do not accord with our discovery process. The defendant has failed to comply with Massachusetts, which requires the defendant to produce all intended expert opinion evidence, including all written reports and opinions that pertain to this case and the identity of anything upon which the expert bases their opinion. Provides for an automatic exchange of discovery regarding intended expert opinion evidence. The Commonwealth again renews its motion for reciprocal discovery. On April 15th, 2024, the defendant identified Chris Van E, PhD, as a potential expert witness in biomedical and mechanical engineering. The defendant proffered that Mr. Van E will testify regarding his opinions and conclusions regarding the Commonwealth's reconstruction and the EDR data obtained in connection with this case. He will testify to the chronological data derived from the EDR, including key cycles and triggering events from the time period in question. However, this description fails to comply with Massachusetts blah, 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 which requires the defendant to disclose the opinion rendered, all intended opinion evidence, and any reports prepared by the expert. The defendant also identified 3 experts from ARCCA, LLC, Daniel Wolf, PhD, Andrew Rentschler, PhD, and Scott Klein, BSME, as expert witnesses in accident reconstruction. The defendant indicated that each expert will testify consistent with report and possession of the Commonwealth, blah, 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 blah. And the Commonwealth again moves for the defendant to produce all written reports and opinions that pertain to this case and the identity of anything upon which the expert bases his opinion. The Commonwealth also moves for the defendant to specify what each of the 3 experts did, what their independent opinion is, and what each expert would testify to. Furthermore, a voir dire is necessary to determine whether each of these 4 proposed experts are qualified to render an opinion about crash reconstruction, whereas all 4 proposed experts are biomechanical engineers and not crash reconstructionists. On May 21st, 2024, the defendant provided the Commonwealth with the curriculum, I don't know that word, of Dr. Marie Russell, an expert witness not previously disclosed On May 30th, 2024, during the 6th week of trial, Attorney Little provided the following synopsis about Dr. Russell. Now, before I read that, I got to say, I find it really interesting how the prosecution, the Commonwealth, is getting really, really upset about the defense failing to share everything with them at a prompt time, at a convenient time for them. It kind of reminds me of what the defense has been griping about the prosecution for the last 2 fucking years. So why are they now all of a sudden having a problem with this? Well, this is the this is the defense. This is Karen Read's entire defense right here. Besides the cross-examinations, which has already shown the jury exactly where the Commonwealth is coming from here. Yeah, absolutely hypocrites. The Commonwealth has been consistently showing the jury that they are simply trying to direct the jury's focus away from where the suspicion should lay, but lay it in this most pathetic way onto Karen Read. It seems very, very desperate every time they do it because it's never anything solid. It's very fascinating to watch this because it's never anything absolutely solid every time they point the finger at Karen Read. But whenever these witnesses that are supposedly pointing the finger at Karen Read, the defense absolutely shows that they're shady and why they're shady. And they have done this consistently throughout this entire trial. And they haven't even, I've been saying it over and over again, every time it happens, I cheer and I boast and I go, man, look at that, man. The defense hasn't even presented their case yet. Right? But then now that the defense is about to present their case, the prosecution is trying to stop it from happening. Now, technically that's their job, right? If the prosecution can try to can pull this off, it's not unethical for them to do that. The problem is it looks shady simply because they failed to present a solid case against Karen Read this entire time. So now it's not like they look to the jury like, well, they're just doing their job. That's what the prosecution is supposed to do, right? In an instance like this is what you would expect the prosecution to do. Normally you would. The problem is again, what the jury hears and what they see and how they perceive it is all that matters right now, right? So if the jury is going to look, the jury can look at the prosecution as simply just doing their job, right? Simply just doing their job. But the issue here is that it looks shady as hell. It looks absolutely shady because of how they've presented their case the entire time. It looks like they're trying to avoid getting to the truth. Now, the thing is as far as these motions go, the jury doesn't know anything about them. Okay? I'm talking like as if the jury knows about them, but they don't. But the thing is the jury's not stupid. The jury just simply is not stupid. Like, the jury sees exactly the tactics that are happening here. And even if, let's say, the defense doesn't even get to present their case, right? Let's just say it gets to that point. The jury's going to wonder, what the fuck is going on here? The defense just rested? The defense had our attention this entire time, and then now all of a sudden they're not going to present a case. I mean, that's going to look insane. Not this defense that has been rocking it the entire time, that has been just taking, that has been simply taking the prosecution's case and stuffing it. Like if the prosecution
is a basketball player and they're about to dunk, the defense has done nothing but do exactly that and play defense, but in the nastiest, most theatrical way, which is jump in front of the fucking hoop and block the ball from getting dunked. And then look at them in the face as they walk by. Like, it's insane. So now all of a sudden, how's it going to look to the jury all of a sudden if they don't present a case? If it's their turn to present a case and then they don't get to? Because, I mean, and I don't think that that's going to happen. Like, I just don't see a universe where this motion is going to fly. Well, this motion is flying. What I'm saying is where the jury isn't going to get to hear the defense's Karen Reed's defense. It just doesn't make sense. They have experts. They're independent experts. And so this motion is for the voir dire, which is going to happen on Tuesday. But it's like, at the same time, I'm trying to understand. It's like you're postponing the inevitable. It doesn't make sense. You're just postponing the inevitable. Because, I mean, what if Judge Bev decides that, okay, well, I heard it, and this doesn't seem like these people are even experts, and they're not qualified to testify on behalf of Karen Reed, so, I'm just not going to allow it. How's that going to look to the jury? Is it going to affect the jury that much? Because I'm of the opinion that even, let's just say, in some crazy universe where they don't actually get to hear this testimony, which won't realistically happen. What I think would realistically happen is that it's just going to be very, very, very controlled. Very controlled. A lot more controlled than the defense set out for it to be. At worst, I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, we're going to go through the whole voir dire all day Tuesday, but I don't think that Judge Bev is going to be like, no, the jury can't hear this. She's definitely not going to do that. And I think that, like, at worst, she's going to say, you can ask about this, but you can't ask about that, and blah, 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 so on and so forth. And I think a lot of it, is the prosecution is trying to avoid the jury from hearing from these experts. Of course, that's the obvious, but also I feel like they're trying to avoid the window or the door of the federal investigation being opened. Mark Callahan, thank you so much. Play the Jackson Bang Bang song. Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I probably will. Yes. Lisa, that is a good question. I'm hoping that it will be, simply because and Lisa's asking, will it be televised on Tuesday? I'm hoping that it will be, seeing is that every time there has been a voir dire, I mean, proceedings closed with a voir dire on Friday. So I'm hoping that it still happens, because we saw it. We've seen every other voir dire, but this is the first time that I remember it being scheduled to happen. So yeah. Well, that's the thing well, yeah, it's still court, just no jury. That's what I'm saying is, like, I don't see any reason why Bev would not televise it or allow it to be televised or streamed. I just don't see a valid reason as to why that would be the case. But I mean, I just don't, with Bev, who the fuck knows anymore? I mean, again, this is just another example of, I mean, as far as the court of public opinion goes, I just don't understand how anybody could think that Karen Reed is guilty at this point. It just makes no sense. Like, for all of us watching, how can you not see that the prosecution is simply trying to play keep away here? Yeah, full day on Monday. So Eliza Little, she provided this synopsis of Dr. Russell. Says she has reviewed the autopsy photos, grand jury testimony of Dr. Scordi-Bello, the entirety of the autopsy report, all reports associated with Chloe's prior bite history, photographs of the items and evidence, and the U.S. Davies DNA testing results and evidence submission forms. Okay, so now I see this bite thing. She is expected to be called with focused testimony related to the right arm injury sustained by Mr. O'Keefe. Dr. Russell will testify that the wounds and injuries on Mr. O'Keefe's right arm are consistent with an animal attack, namely teeth or claw marks, or a combination of both from an animal. She will also testify that these injuries are inconsistent with having been struck by a vehicle, road rash, or scratches from broken glass or taillight material. She will base her opinions and conclusions in part on having treated hundreds of patients in the ER with injuries sustained from animal attacks, including dogs. So I don't see the problem with that. I mean, I see it being a problem for the prosecution, but the thing is like they're trying to say here in this motion, it seems like Lally is trying to say in this motion that that they had no idea. They didn't know. They don't know what she's going to testify to. It sounds like they were told exactly what they were going to testify to. Yeah, and I think, Cherry, that's why I think that they're going with the whole animal narrative, or they're saying animal and not specifying dog bites necessarily. It's just because there's no actual proof, but we know common sense dictates that it's a dog, considering that got rid of a dog, that Brian Albert got rid of a dog. Dude, I have to reset my SIRI. It just happens. It's really annoying. Right. No, I realize that, Sarah Boo. I do realize that. But it's like, oh God. It just it looks so shady. It looks so shady. Right, biting taillights. It just looks so shady. Let me get back to this real quick. This is hours and hours, so I have to like. Where does it start?
From a garage on February 1st, is that correct?
All right, this is still Lally right here.
Okay. We just magnified it. Okay.
Area of the vehicle we're looking at.
It was
Damage vehicle crashes.
All right, guys, give me 1 second here.
One has Matt finish and one has
I just wanted to get to the cross.
No snow on the vehicle. By that I mean Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle that even came off the vehicle that you observed during the course of that contact between the two vehicles.
That's correct.
I have nothing further on.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
Did you ever put the two cars together?
I did not.
No, you didn't, did you? You didn't. You never tested whether or not the SUV would match up with the Traverse, did you?
See, Jackson just comes out swinging, and as I understand, if I remember correctly, Jackson comes out swinging, and it's because he's pissed that this dude comes out with fucking evidence that he never presented. So here, it's ironic that here Jackson is pissed off because now he's got to cross-examine this dude based on shit that he had no preparation for. He didn't even know what this dude was going to testify to. So they couldn't prepare for this. This guy comes out of left field, right? So he's pissed off because he's got to wing it every single time because they keep throwing these curveballs, and curveballs are legal in baseball. What this is fucking illegal. So Jackson's pissed off because now he's got to sit here and work through this bullshit.
What do you mean?
You just said, oh, look, one of them has matte finish, one of them has glossy finish. So it couldn't happen, right?
No, I'm confused by the question. I'm talking about the tail light. We're talking about the tail light. Are we talking about the tail? We're talking about the bumper.
Yeah, we were talking about the tail light.
So one person at a time. You both are talking over each other.
You started talking about the bumpers.
Yes.
You said, well, one has matte finish and one has glossy finish, right?
Yes.
And you said, well, you'd expect one of them to like slide off of each other, and they could have done this and they could have done that, right?
Well, that's what
slide
we're
off each other.
talking
You're
about.
suggesting
Like
that the two cars wouldn't match up.
Jackson's like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll wing it. That's fine. What pisses me off is that I continue to have to fucking wing it. And then this guy's going to file motions for void years because he has a problem with my witnesses. Because he doesn't know what we're going to present. He doesn't know what our witnesses are going to testify to. And if they're actually experts, and he's going to challenge their expertise and file these motions. Yet here they are throwing these curveballs at us. It's bullshit.
Such that the taillight could make contact with any part of the Traverse. That's what you were suggesting.
I'm saying it didn't match up because there's no damage to the Traverse.
You didn't test whether or not the lens, the right rear lens on the SUV could match up to any part of the Traverse, right? And make contact, physical contact with it, right?
When I see a picture of the Traverse,
no?
when I see the picture
No,
of the
this is a
Traverse,
voir dire. I need the information.
you
Mr.
asked me a
Jackson.
question.
Yeah,
I said, when
yes or no question, Trooper.
I don't think so, but
Mr. Jackson, just for there's no jury here.
I
This
realize
is
that.
this is for purposes of what I have to rule on. The more information I have, the better off I am in being able to rule on.
Let me take a breath.
So this is you trying to keep the evidence out. So you want to give me the information.
Understood. Did you or did you not ever do a test where you backed the Lexus up against the Traverse?
we did not.
Did you or did you not ever do a test where you put the two cars together and measured them?
No.
Did you ever measure the taillight of the SUV, the black SUV, against any area on that Traverse?
No.
Did you ever do any force multiplier tests to determine the forces necessary to crack the SUV's convex taillight?
No.
Did you ever do any testing to determine whether or not a plastic taillight, under how much pressure a plastic taillight would need to be subjected before it would crack?
You didn't miss anything,
No.
Carlene.
Did you ever do any testing to determine whether or not if a plastic taillight came in contact with a metallic portion of another SUV, whether it would leave any mark?
Yeah, Jessica.
Haven't done any tests, and I've
He looks like Professor fucking X. Down to the suit.
seen crashes where headlights have struck other vehicles. That's kind of where the experience comes from.
Fair enough. But I'm guessing that those crashes are probably different speeds and higher speeds. Not this, right?
I've had multiple crashes at different speeds.
So have you ever
Oh,
had
yes.
a crash where you've investigated, the Massachusetts State Police has been brought in to investigate a crash where the car was going in reverse at about a half a mile an hour?
Half a mile an hour?
Whatever that was.
Are you saying the SUV Lexus is going half a mile per hour?
Well,
The bottom line is what Jackson's getting at here is did you ever even test, or did you conduct other tests to eliminate before you drew the conclusion that Karen Reed struck John O'Keefe with her SUV? Did you conduct any tests and eliminate other possibilities before you drew this conclusion? That's what he's getting at. And it's a very simple and perfectly valid question to ask. Because this is all, like I said, it's all smoke and mirrors and song and dance for the jury and a bunch of technical talk and all that shit. But none of that means anything when you realize that they didn't actually factor in Higgins' Jeep that was that was sitting in front of the mailbox, but they wouldn't know that because Massachusetts State Police never even interviewed Brian Higgins. The fact that Brian Higgins' Jeep was parked in front of that mailbox didn't even come out until trial. It may have come out in grand jury testimony that I don't remember. I don't know. They may have said that in this trial. I'm not sure. But what I'm saying is, it's the first time I was hearing about it. First time I was hearing about Brian Higgins' Jeep being parked in front of that mailbox. It's not in any of the statements. It's not documented anywhere. So why didn't he factor the fact that, why didn't this expert factor in Brian Higgins' Jeep with a snowplow in front of it when doing this reconstruction? And one could say that it's simply because nobody ever even bothered to interview Brian Higgins. So again, suspects were never actually eliminated. They weren't investigated in order to be eliminated before you even get to Karen Reed and draw the conclusion that Karen Reed is responsible for John O'Keefe's death, that Karen Reed hit John O'Keefe with her SUV. There's just, I mean, they conducted no investigation down to the reconstruction of the crash. They didn't conduct any process of elimination to get to that conclusion. And that's a serious problem. Because any investigator will tell you, any fucking investigator will tell you that they conduct their investigations through process of elimination. Everyone's a suspect and they eliminate suspects before they narrow down, zero in and narrow down on one. So why didn't that happen? How are you supposed to, how am I supposed to believe that you didn't railroad this woman if everything points to you railroading her? Because whether it's done through negligence, now I believe it to be done on purpose, considering all of the other information that we have. But as far as the jury is concerned, whether it's negligent or whether it's deliberate, whether it was nefarious, you still railroaded this woman. She was still railroaded, because if you didn't conduct your investigation in a manner in which every other investigation is conducted, tried and true methods of process of elimination, I mean, how am I not supposed to think that you railroaded her? Again, if you didn't conduct it this way, if you did not conduct this investigation through process of elimination, you railroaded this woman, whether it was through negligence or it was nefarious, to try to deliberately frame her. One way or the other, you railroaded her. Doesn't matter. You still railroaded her. So there's your not guilty verdicts right there. And that's just a drop in the bucket of examples as to why she's going to be found not guilty. Why there's no way that jury is ever going to convict her, unanimously come to the conclusion that she's guilty. It will never happen. It will never happen.
You're the reconstructionist. Give me an estimate of how fast you think that SUV was going at the point of contact with the Traverse.
Maybe like 1-2 miles per hour.
Okay, fair enough. Have you ever been called in to a crash, to investigate a crash, where the cars have collided at 1 mile an hour?
I've had pedestrian crashes that have been at a very low speed.
Okay, that wasn't my question. That wasn't quite my question.
Right.
Okay.
My question is, have you been called in to a crash involving two vehicles
Yeah.
that have made contact at about a mile an hour?
I have seen testing for vehicles at low speeds. So next thing I have been called to a crash, I go
Okay.
to fatality crashes.
It's not what he asked. I don't care what the fuck you've seen, dude. Who cares what you've seen? You've seen testing? You've seen it? But did you conduct a test? Did you bother to look close enough to that video, like every other person who's been following this case? Did you look at that video evidence of her backing into John O'Keefe's SUV, and then test to see if she could have broken her taillight doing that? Did you do that? Did you bother to do that? That's what he's getting at. But he's dodging it. He's dodging the question. I've thought of this too. Iceman 2.0, you're saying, Will, what I worry about is the McAlberts getting to one juror who votes guilty no matter what. Hasn't everyone said Brian Albert is scary? Well, Iceman 2.0, the thing is the way the jury works, okay, is let's say one juror is intimidated by the McAlberts or anybody, or let's just say one juror actually thinks that she's guilty, right? Let's just say one juror is dead set on her being guilty. Unless all of the jurors are unanimous in this conclusion that Karen Read is guilty, then they have to find her not guilty. If one juror is like, I don't know, that's how the justice system works. It's a hung jury, exactly. If one juror says, you know what, I don't know, and every single other juror is like, dude, I'm totally convinced that she's guilty, it doesn't have to be a majority vote to reach a not guilty verdict. It has to be a unanimous vote for it to be a guilty verdict. Does that make sense? The burden of proof is on the prosecution. So in order to convict someone, all the jurors have to be unanimous in their opinion that Karen Read is guilty. They have to draw that conclusion and say, all of us have to agree that Karen Read is guilty as far as jurors go. If I'm on the jury, all of us have to agree. We don't all have to agree that she's not guilty. One person disagreeing, one person thinking that she's not guilty is enough. That's a hung jury, and that's it. She's done. She's out of there. She's going home. So let's just say that the McAlberts, as you put it, Iceman, let's just say that the McAlberts got to one juror. It wouldn't matter. They would have to get to every one of the jurors. They would have to intimidate every single juror to voting guilty. That's how it would work in order for Karen Read to be found guilty.
But I have seen testing for fuels at low speed impacts,
Okay. How low speed?
like just the bump.
So like this?
Yes,
Did you see any damage?
yes. All right. Well, minimal damage.
Right. In what circumstances? Minimal damage, like, I don't know, like a cracked taillight.
No, like just a little bit of rub off on the paint.
Like a cracked taillight.
You might see nothing, right?
Yes.
You've certainly seen circumstances in which two cars come in contact and there's absolutely no physical damage to either car, nothing observable, right?
Have I gone to
Sure.
crashes that have seen no physical damage on a car?
Or just in common sense, just everyday life, where one car backs into another car at the Jiffy Lube, makes contact and drives away, and there's no damage.
Not normally. It's usually something with car and car impacts.
Like, what's the something?
A crack or a paint, something chip, scratches.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you put a piece of metal in that scenario, you put a piece of metal, steel, right,
Uh-huh.
against a piece of plastic.
Quit acting like you don't know what the fuck he's talking about, dude. He's basically saying, did you fucking test Karen Reed's car up against John O'Keefe's car to see if the scratches against her car could have came from John O'Keefe's? If the tiny little dent that you say came from a glass could have come from John O'Keefe's vehicle. Did you test it? Did you conduct a test?
Which one do you think is going to give way first?
You'll still see some damage to both vehicles at a speed.
Which one would give way first?
Between metal, depends what speeds. And what we're talking about, you're just saying plastic and metal. You're giving a pretty general, broad plastic and metal
Trooper Paul,
analysis here.
you admit, you got to agree with me, that there are circumstances in which low speed, very, very low speed contact between two cars can certainly leave damage on one and not damage on the other, damage on both, or no damage on either one. Observe.
That's totally the case. That could totally happen because I've been in fender benders like that. Like I've been in fender benders where I'm like, you get out of the car, you look, and hey, no damage seems to have happened to my car. I mean, we can call the cops and get a report if you want. No, I'm good. I don't see any damage to my car either. All right, well, have a nice day. That's absolutely happened to me. It's happened to me more than once. I mean, who the fuck has that never happened to? Who's that never happened to? Of course. Of course, that could absolutely happen.
Yes, I just said in that situation where the scratch on the side of her car had a scratch mark and his doesn't appear to have anything.
And you said under questioning by Mr. Lally that certain circumstances like this could lead to a lens material, right? Plastic material cracking, right?
Say again, like on least.
Just a few minutes ago, Mr. Lally.
I'm trying to answer your question. Sorry. Yes.
Mr. Lally asked you a question a few minutes ago, and you indicated that something might show up on a bumper. Something might, something might, like a taillight, might actually crack, correct? In a low speed impact.
A taillight might crack in a low speed impact?
Correct.
Yeah, it might crack.
Okay, now, Mr. Lally also said you saw this video where the cars come close to or make contact, right? That's how he worded the question. Remember that?
Come close. Yep.
Which one is it? Did it come close or did it make contact?
I said it might. I don't know if that scratch from the side is. It's something that's consistent with the height of the bumper. Like I said, I didn't measure them from side by side, but you can clearly see there's a scratch on the side, and that's something that looks like that would come back. So as I look at the bumper, and I see the bumper, and it has that little divot, and I look at her side of her car with that scratch mark, that kind of lines up a little bit of why that could
might crack. Exactly. When DV Plus says that's huge, that it might crack right there, that is enough to create doubt in the juror's mind. Because remember, the jury, I was in the courtroom. I'm telling you right now, I was in the courtroom. I saw the jury's reaction when Jackson showed the footage of Karen backing into John O'Keefe's vehicle and seeing the tire move, with the tire being zoomed in. I was sitting in the courtroom that day. I watched the jury's reaction to this, and they all reacted quite visibly. Some more than others, but everyone was like, at least was like, you know? Some of it audible. Some of it was like, oh, wow. So this absolutely happened. So since the jury heard that, and if the jury were to have heard this, which they didn't, they were not in the room when this was happening, but if the jury were to have heard that right there, that would have been more that would have created doubt. The fact that it could have cracked, sure. It could have cracked and you didn't actually conduct a test. It might crack. hitting against John O'Keefe's car at that flow of speed? Sure. And you didn't test it to see if it would. That is enough to create doubt. That is enough for the jury to go, I don't know. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love this t-shirt. I got this t-shirt at Clever. Really, bro? Come on. Thank you. I got this t-shirt at Riot Fest in 2016. It is worn out. But it was awesome because like I love the Misfits, and it was the first time playing with Glenn Danzig fronting them in like 30 years. So it was super dope.
That could be where that was from.
I thought you said there was no damage on that car, on the Traverse.
There is no damage, and that's why I went to why there's this two different paint.
All right, let's hear that one more
there.
time.
That's what the measure from side by side, but this is something.
Did it come close or did it make contact?
I said it might. I don't know if that scratch from the side is. It's something that's consistent with the height of the bumper. Like I said, I didn't measure them from side by side, but you can clearly see there's a scratch on the side, and that's something that looks like that would come back. So as I look at the bumper, and I see the bumper, and it has that little divot, and I look at her side of her car with that scratch mark, that kind of lines up a little bit of why that could be where that was from.
I thought you said there was no damage on that car, on the Traverse.
There is no damage, and that's why I went to why there's this two different paint materials there. That why one could have showed up on her car because it's that flat, the glossy paint on there, and it could have scratched on it. While you have something that's a little more rougher texture with like a flat, flat color on there.
What?
So it wouldn't leave on there.
So you just described the circumstance in which two cars come in contact. You don't see any observable damage on one, and you do on the other. That's what
I just
described, right?
Yeah, I suggested that when you asked me that a second ago.
Yes. With regard to the video, let's get back to the question that I asked, which was,
yeah, which you never answered.
did the SUV come close to, or did it come in contact with the Traverse?
Again, I don't know because I'm saying based off the damage that is something consistent with that. So it's most likely it did come in contact with the bumper to bumper, but I don't know definitively because there is no damage to his car, but it's something that could explain why there's a scratch mark alongside the right rear side of his car, her car.
Did you see the tire move, sir? Did you see the wheel on the Traverse?
Yes, what I was just gonna say.
No,
like,
I couldn't see the wheel move.
What do you mean you couldn't see the wheel move, bro?
I didn't see it move. If I did, I didn't observe it moving. If it moved, it moved. I didn't observe it moving. I wasn't looking at the wheel.
When was the first time you saw that video?
Yeah. See, here we go.
I don't really know. It's been a little while.
This is where Alan Jackson gets pissed.
Well, I don't know what a little while means.
Like a year ago, I think.
Okay. So you saw that video a year ago. Did you put anything about that video in your report, which is wherever it is, right here? I'm looking at your entire CARS report. Did you put anything in this CARS report about watching that video?
No, because I watched the video like after the report was done, and I watched it first time on Court TV. So
who?
Wait, what?
On Court TV.
On
You saw that video a year ago. Did you put anything about that video in your report, which is wherever it is, right here? I'm looking at your entire CARS report. Did you put anything in this CARS report about watching that video?
No, because I watched the video like after the report was done, and I watched it first time on Court TV. So
who?
So, okay. Once the report was done, because it's not like there's a woman that's on trial for her fucking life, right? So, it didn't occur to you after you saw this, if you made this report and then you saw this video on Court TV and then you see this tire move, even though you're denying that you saw the tire move, but there's on Court TV, because I remember it, on Court TV, there was the question of whether or not Karen Reed actually hit John O'Keefe's vehicle as she's backing out on his property, right? So you didn't think the ethical thing to do would go, I submitted this report and I think I need to conduct a couple more tests here. in order to do this properly, I feel like I need to conduct a couple more tests. Dude, like, you're shady, bro. Right? Right up, Church?
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. I think we got a super cat. I think we.
Maris Whitaker, thank you so much. He sounds like someone who just got caught cheating on a test. I agree. He does. He does. He totally reminds me of the child's personality in the movie Split. Like, I watched it on. I watched it. I watched it on Court TV, etc. Dahlia Lynn. I think I said it right. How did the two family and friends interact from your perspective? They didn't interact with each other at all. From my perspective, I didn't see them interact with each other at all. Thank you so much. So I like to dance. You guys want to see me dance? You want to see me dance? You want to see Cuck Church dance? Because Ryan Upchurch is my favorite. I like a lot of rap and country, etc.
On Court TV during this trial?
Like
Prior here.
no, when it was on TV at some point.
When did you and Mr. Lally have a discussion about you testifying about this video?
That was a couple weeks ago?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand.
A couple of weeks ago?
What's a couple of weeks ago? Is it 10 days ago?
Days ago? 2 weeks ago? I mean, 2 weeks ago? Couple?
Okay.
Two?
Where did you two meet?
At the DA's office.
Was that at your request or was that at Mr. Lally's request?
It was a pre-conference hearing, or pre-trial hearing.
Right. Well, those
Or pre-trial conference, sorry.
Wow.
So,
yeah, are you done? You got it?
Talking over each other. I'm trying not to talk over each other.
I'm trying not either.
Bro, like, quit.
Let's both try harder.
Okay.
Who set up the meeting?
From my pre-trial.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. What the
Adam
fuck
Lally.
do you think we're talking about?
Who was at the meeting?
Everybody sitting right here. Lieutenant Tully.
Lieutenant Tully, you, Adam Lally, Laura McLaughlin. I'm guessing Miss Gilman was not there.
She was not there. Correct.
He's not stupid. He's just playing stupid.
Yes.
Did he tell you that
He's not stupid. He's playing stupid. That's what he's doing. He's trying to play stupid. This is what all these motherfuckers do. I don't recall. He's just playing stupid.
intended to ask you some questions about this video at that meeting.
Yes.
Did he ask you whether or not you could render an opinion as to whether or not the impact that you saw or lack thereof, whatever the case may be, was consistent or inconsistent with damage to the tail light?
Yes.
Wait, what? Paul Cristoforo says, Will, Cherry asked me to have you play the super chat. Happy birthday, Cherry. Glad to catch you tonight. Yes, happy birthday, Cherry. It's Cherry's birthday, and it's Cherry's birthday every day, etc. And here's Ryan Upchurch, etc.
I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you, buddy. As always.
To tell him that you would give him such opinion if called upon at trial.
Yes.
Did anybody take any notes?
I don't know.
Were you taking notes?
Yes.
Where are those notes, Mr. Paul?
I think I just, well, no, it's not on this specifically, but just, you
wow,
know,
dude.
Make sure I had,
wow, dude.
My everything checks and balance. And for what I want to talk about, or
Bro,
talk about.
Make sure.
I don't know.
Jackson just knows like how to fucking like, all right, you're gonna sit up here and act like a fucking babe in the woods, like a kid. I'm gonna fucking talk to you like a kid on timeout, bro. Like I'm gonna treat you like a kid on timeout, dude. Like He totally read how he just answered that question. Yes, I took notes. And then Jackson's like, where are those notes, dude? Like, do I have to ask you? Like, you know I'm gonna fucking ask you, where the fuck are the notes, dude? Grown ass man, bro.
Taking notes.
Yes.
Where are those notes, Mr. Paul?
Where are they,
more
bro?
notes, not on this specifically, but just make sure I had my everything checks and balance, and for what I want to talk about, what we're going to talk about.
Make sure you had
My
what?
checks and balances. Sorry,
Checks and
Bro, like
just make sure
even Bev,
I'm more on the same page of what we.
even Bev, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, guy? You're what? my checks and check the balance, etc.
You're what?
Fucking kills me, dude. This dude is a cartoon character, for fuck's sake.
What we understand what's going on in the trial.
You want to make sure that you're on the same page with Mr. Lally about what's going on in trial.
Yes.
All right. Did Mr. Lally take notes?
Oh, it's
I have no idea.
It's happening, Liz Reed. It's happening. It's
I
happening.
wasn't paying attention to his note taking.
Ms. McLaughlin was there. Was she taking notes?
I don't know.
You didn't see
I think we got a super cat.
I don't know if there were people who were taking
I think
notes.
we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
Scott McGinnis thinks funny. Soon the defense is on offense. ADA Lally will fail miserably on cross. DA Morrissey has pushed Lally unarmed and alone into the arena. Entertained? Are you not entertained? Scott, I totally agree with you. Yes. The one little detail though, I feel like the defense has been on the offense this entire time, which is amazing. And I think the jury sees it at this point. Let's get back to checks balance.
Taking notes, writing stuff down, or what they're writing stuff down in relation to our little conference.
Did you give him an opinion? We've asked whether or not you were asked to give an opinion, and you said, yes, I was.
Yep.
Did you give an opinion at that meeting about whether or not you believe, in your opinion, the contact between the SUV and the Traverse, the Lexus and the Traverse, could result in the damage to the taillight?
Yes.
What did you tell him in the meeting?
What we talked about already in the stand here.
Okay. So what you related to him was exactly what
Carrie thinks that because it's her birthday and she loves cheese more than the rest of us, that she gets to call us men bullies. Not true, okay? Because she was the one making fun of my ADHD, bro. Okay, remember that? Y'all remember that? That was her. And the ADHD kicks in. You saw that shit? I struggle with that, people. Okay? I struggle with that shit. Okay? It's hard. Wait, that's the wrong one. Hold on. That's the wrong one. Hold on. Wait, nope. There we go. You guys have no idea how hard it is to struggle with ADHD. You sit here day after day, night after night, and I try to be entertaining. I try to bring the facts. I try to pay attention to all the facts. Sometimes I miss things. I do the best I can. And the one person that I count on to back me up takes jabs at my worst weakness. All right, shut up. Okay, that's enough. See what you did, Cherry? See what you did, Cherry? Do you see? Do you see how you treat me? And everybody could see it. Everybody could see it.
Yes.
And he asked you, he told you that he was going to ask, I'm going to ask you to look at the video, correct?
Yes.
You're going to be asked a series of questions about that video, correct?
He told me the video and he said, okay, this is the video. This is what they think the tail light was broken.
I can't get
And
over
these
how
are
this
the
guy
pictures of
talks,
his-
dude. How
of his
am I
car that they
How
take.
am I supposed to fucking count on this dude as an expert, bro? Listen to the way this guy talks, bro.
Correct?
Yes.
You're going to be asked a series of questions about that video, correct?
He told me the video and he said, okay, this is the video. This is what they think the tail light.
I gotta hear this guy fucking answer in slow motion. Hold on. I just gotta hear that shit. I gotta break this down. Hold on.
Yes.
You're going to
Yes, he told me the video and he said, okay, this is the video. This is what they think the tail light
What?
was broken. They think so, and he said, yes, he told me the video and he said, okay, this is the video. This is what they think the tail light.
series of questions.
Yes, he told me the video and he said, okay, this is the video.
Yes, he did tell me the video. Did it say something like your tail light? Something about says
This is what they think the tail light was broken. And these are the pictures of his car that they take. So they asked my opinion on, do you think that's where a tail light would be broken?
And he said, and he told you, you need to
This is
make
the best
sure
shit
that
ever,
you
dude.
tell the jurors that it couldn't have happened in this impact, right?
Oh my god, dude.
He didn't tell me I'd make sure jurors. I mean, that's my opinion. Doesn't appear to happen in that video.
Did he tell you that it would be helpful to the prosecution if you said,
Holy fucking shit, dude. Like, how do you put your socks on in the morning, guy?
that it was inconsistent with the tail light break?
Josh.
Yes.
I'm gonna allow it. Did he tell you it
Oh my
would
God.
be helpful to the case if
Did he
you
tell
said
you the help?
No.
But you knew it wouldn't be, right?
I'm just stating what I saw on my professional opinion on what it is. If it's professional opinion on what it is, my professional opinion on what it is. If it looked like it was consistent, I was.
My professional opinion, you
say it's consistent. It wasn't.
What?
If it looked like it was consistent, I would say it's consistent. If it wasn't consistent, it's not consistent. I'm not gonna.
Dude, for fuck's sake, man. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so comments are not appropriate for the jury. They're also not very good for me, Mr. Jackson. Comments are
What it is. If it looked like it was consistent, I would say it's consistent. If it wasn't consistent, it's not consistent. I'm not gonna.
I'm sure that's what you would say.
okay, so
I'm sure that's what you say. Jackson's all condescending and shit.
comments are not appropriate for the jury. They're also not very good for me, Mr. Jackson.
Did you formalize your
my
new opinion?
my professional opinion, my professional opinions.
Yes.
Because it's consistent. It's consistent with my professional opinion.
Did Mr. Lally ask you to create a report of some sort that you could then turn over to the defense so that we would know that you have a new opinion that you're going to testify about?
No.
Did you save those notes that you took about making sure that you were on the same page as Mr. Lally?
That's, I mean, yeah, I saved mine.
Where are they?
They're my report.
They're in your report?
Yeah, as I was writing a report, I just kind of like highlight the stuff that I want to make sure I memorize and remember my report.
Okay.
I mean, y'all, he sounds so professional right now. Dude, he's killing it.
Talking about notes specifically about this video, seeing this video and rendering a new opinion about this video.
No, I didn't have notes specifically about this video. I didn't write anything down saying I must do this on this video.
Did you write anything down about the new opinion that you had come up with related to this video?
No, I did not.
I'm just moving on.
Yep.
And your opinion ultimately that you imparted to Mr. Lally in that meeting was that the car did not move and the snow did not move, correct?
Correct.
I think that's all I have.
All right. Did you want to follow up at all, Mr. Lally?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So, Trooper, you are all set for today. We will see you Monday morning.
Watch Jackson. Watch Jackson. Watch Jackson right here. Hold on. I got to slow this down. Watch Jackson. Jackson just gives him the fucking look, bro. I love this shit. Right here. Y'all ready? Here we go. Jackson's like, fuck you, you stupid piece of shit.
All right. So you're moving to exclude this. I'll hear you, Mr. Jackson.
Your Honor, it's very clear that this is a blatant security violation. Commonwealth has at least the obligation to provide us with any new opinions that any expert is going to testify to on direct examination. They've known about this witness for not months, for a year.
Right. So it's just really funny because I'm finding a little bit I'm finding it difficult to give Lally any credibility at all, especially since I already don't. I'm finding it interesting. Hey, what's up, Brandy Churchwell? I'm finding it really interesting here that like because here Lally files this motion saying, well, we don't have the, they need to share what their experts are going to say and blah, 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 blah. So we're going to file this motion for a void year, blah, 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 blah. Right. But here, like, Lally consistently, habitually does the same shit that they're accusing the defense of not doing, even though in their motion they showed proof that Eliza Little absolutely explained what these people were going to testify to, what their expert witnesses were going to testify to. And here they are filing a motion trying to say, we don't know what they're going to testify to. What?
They've known exactly what this witness has memorialized in his official report. They knew that the only thing that we had was the official report. They met with him 2 weeks ago. This has become a pattern of conduct by the Commonwealth over and over and over.
Right. Met with them 2 weeks ago. Did they mention that? No. Did they share anything that they were going to? No.
We're finding these witnesses getting on the stand, finding out that there's been a sort of preemptive strike in some sort of a prep interview where they're coming up with new opinions, new conclusions, new facts.
Right. New opinions, new conclusions, new facts. 2 weeks ago, he met up with them. So the trial had already been commenced. It's been going on. The trial's been happening. And then this guy meets up with his witness after they already submitted what this expert was going to, this so-called expert, was going to testify to, and then decided to prep him 2 weeks ago and be like, hey, this is what you're going to say when you're on the stand. Fuck what we talked about before. This is what you're going to do when you come to the stand 2 weeks late, in 2 weeks from now. That's playing dirty as fuck. That is playing dirty. And here the prosecution is filing motions accusing the defense of doing this. They haven't even called a witness to the stand yet. Explain that.
It happened with Jennifer McCabe. This new fact about coming up, going to Michael Lake's house. It happened with Officer Sarah coming up with a new determination about what was said or not said at the scene that we had never heard before. That was also a prep session of some sort, or I believe it was. And then this witness, literally, it's something like,
Is this really you? Did you add a wrench to the next to your name, troll? I don't know. I can't tell if it's really her. Well, we're never gonna stop giving you shit about that.
was it light out or was it dark out? This is a completely new opinion based on evidence that we presented, both in open or talked about in opening statement and have presented variously throughout this trial. And this officer gets on the stand and now has a new central opinion about whether or not we're right and that taillight lens could be cracked. That's something that should have at least been reduced to writing. And even if it was reduced to writing, it should have been excluded because it's a discovery violation. It's late. We don't have time to prepare for it, and we're caught off guard. I use the word at sidebar ambush, and I know that rankles the court, and the court doesn't like it, but that's exactly what it feels like.
Well, that's been used both ways here, right? So it's a word.
I mean,
get out of here. Make your point.
Yeah, I mean, it is an ambush. Like, that's what it is. It's a fucking ambush, dude. Like, let's just call it what it is.
Okay. I'll see if I can come up with a.
And look at Lally just sitting there. I like this dude, just his demeanor is so annoying. Just sitting there, just waiting, like, I didn't do nothing. I don't know. I didn't do nothing, teacher. I don't know why this person's. I'm just sitting here doing my work.
The synonym for it.
Well, I
feel like I'm
understand
taking-
I understand your argument. So focus on just continue where you were, but no comment whether I like ambush or don't like ambush. It's a word I've heard a lot of both sides.
I understand, Your Honor. My point.
I spent
is
so much conversation
the
talking about the
evidence
word
that now
ambush.
is being sought should never be presented in front of you. We didn't have opportunity to get this in advance. This has, it's at least, very least, been in the Commonwealth's possession for weeks. He took notes about it. He now says, well, I didn't take notes about that specifically. I don't believe that as far as I can throw him. I think he did take notes about it. He was shown the video. He provided a new opinion. Mr. Lally knew that he was providing a new opinion. And then the first time he discloses this opinion is in front of the 16 jurors, 15 jurors. We would ask for its exclusion, Your Honor. And I'll submit.
All right, Mr. Lally.
Yes, Your Honor. As far as the pattern, especially coming from
Oh, it's
counsel,
laughable.
I simply find it laughable. As far as
It's
Officer
laughable.
Sarif, I think what counsel is referring to was testimony that was in his grand jury testimony. He was crossed about whether or not it was in his report, but it was in his grand jury testimony. As far as Ms. McCabe is concerned, that was regarding reciprocal discovery that was given to the Commonwealth weeks into trial by the defendant. It was then shown to a witness, which is perfectly permissible. Counsel asked a question of Ms. McCabe on cross, and she was aware of the material based on the late disclosure of reciprocal discovery. So there's no violation there. As it relates to, and why I say laughable, Your Honor, is that I am still.
I don't like hearing you say laughable. Just
Understood.
Nobody does.
stick to what the arguments are. And
With
quit
respect to this witness.
Hold on. Quit the finger pointing, name calling, things like that, please. I
Yes.
know it's been a long week. It's been a particularly long day, but just focus on what you want to argue to me.
And I apologize to the court for that, Your Honor. With respect to this testimony, it's well within his realm as a crash reconstructionist. This is a witness who's responded to and investigated hundreds of crashes involving damage to vehicles. Simply making an observation of contact between two vehicles or purported contact between two vehicles on a video. The force is self-evident, and whether or not that force is sufficient to cause the damage that he personally observed on the defendant's vehicle is well within his expertise, and should be permissible as far as for this witness to be able to testify to.
What about the non-disclosure to the defense?
I love how much you guys hate Lally so much.
So,
dude.
Your Honor, what I would
You
say
guys
is I
are-
did not show this video and ask this opinion. This is
I'm just here like watching y'all fucking. Shut up, Lally. Sit down, Lally. You suck.
the video that actually the trooper mentioned to me that he had seen over the course of while the case was pending, probably over a year ago, that he had seen that video. What I showed him was the photographs of Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle and asked whether or not he observed any damage consistent with the damage to the taillight observing or popping up on Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle.
Why wasn't that turned over?
In hindsight, it should have been, Your Honor.
All right. So it's late. I'm not ruling here. I want to review everything. I would like, I'm not obviously taking any of the evidence home with me. I would like, if it's possible, for what your IT person did on the expanding, like he did this second time, maybe I missed it, but I didn't see the tire move this time. So I'd like that. I'd like that video, and I would like, what's the exhibit number here?
It's Exhibit 6. Do you want just that video, Your Honor?
Thank you, Chris.
And the pictures of the cars, whatever was shown during this voir dire, I would like those emailed to me so that I can look at them this weekend while I'm deciding, or put them on a flash drive right now.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
We'll do a screen record and get it to the court by email.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah. I just need an hour once we get back to home base.
Okay.
What did you say?
All right, Ms. Gilman, will you burn what you have for me before we leave somehow?
Your Honor, if I could, I just want to close one loop.
Will you burn what you have for me, bro? Like, I haven't heard anybody fucking ask anybody to burn anything for them in God knows how long, bro. Will you burn this for me? Can you hold on? Okay, thank you. This lady's amazing.
Okay.
What I was referring to with Ms. McCabe, I want to make sure that this is clear because this has come up a couple of times. The only thing I was referring to, or what I was referring to, it's not the only thing, but what I was referring to with Ms. McCabe is after Ms. McCabe testified, days and days and days after she testified and she was excused as a witness, then we got the report from Lieutenant Tully about the new information that she disclosed on the witness stand. In other words, she was cross-examined about it, etc. And then after she testified and was gone,
Etc.
cross-examined and gone, then we got a report that predated her testimony, that was in the possession of the Commonwealth, or at least in the possession of Lieutenant Tully. That's what I was talking about. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear. We don't need to go into it any further.
Did you want to add anything to that, Mr. Lally?
No.
All right. So I'll see you Monday morning.
All rise.
Jesus Christ. Hold on. Let me see if I can find. I got to play this one for you guys. You guys got to see this. Since we're in a silly mood right now.
I just wanted to interject. There are things that come up in this testimony that I found troubling.
You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone. Sounds like it's breaking up. Yep, you need a new battery.
It gets better.
I just wanted to interject. There are things that come up in this testimony that I found
It gets better. Hold
You got a
on.
little problem with your microphone, Kevin. We've got a little problem with your microphone. Sounds like it's
All right. Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone. 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 You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. Sounds like it's breaking up. 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 Yep, you need a new battery.
Oh my God.
You need a new battery. Yep, you need a new battery. Yep, you need a new battery. Sounds like it's breaking up. 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 Yep, you need a new battery. 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 You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone, Kevin. You got a little problem with your microphone. You got a little problem with your microphone. You got a little problem with your microphone. You got a little problem with your microphone.
Oh my God, dude. I can't, dude. I fucking can't. This is fantastic. Hold on. Let me see what else they got here. Oh man, there was something else that I saw. I thought I reposted it. Okay, I know where to find it. Hold on. Just give me 1 second here. You guys ready? It's the new one. It's the new one. Wow, dude. It's the wrong arm. Like, Jesus Christ. Levin, stop it. I mean, he's awfully close to the road, isn't he? This is Clevin's new reenactment based on this expert, the so-called expert. Oh my God, bro. I can't with this dude, bro. I'm done. Like, bro, how am I supposed to take Court TV seriously, dude? They keep having this dickhead on. How am I supposed to take Court TV seriously at all? I can't, dude. Like, and he just ended up right there next to the curb. Well, I mean, I'm trying to picture Plevin's mindset. Like, okay, well, shit, you know, I can't explain why he ended up at least 10 feet into the lawn. So fuck it. We just won't even put him 10 feet into the lawn. We'll just make up our own conclusion here. Because according to this so-called expert, this professional, the professional crash expert, he thinks that, and I'll lay this out one more time. He concluded that John O'Keefe was struck in the arm by Karen Reed's SUV, specifically her taillight, which shattered and caused abrasions going down his arm, all going the same direction, with a bite mark going around his arm. No bruising, just lacerations. No injuries to his body anywhere below the neck. Nothing. And the way that he got his head, the way that he got his head injury was by hitting the curb next to the road, separating the lawn from the road. But there's no explanation as to how he ended up at least 10 feet into the lawn. So he must have bounced. I'm sorry. And Plevin's reenactment is bad because he didn't go into the spin. He didn't recreate the spin. So that's what supposedly happened is Karen Reed strikes John O'Keefe in the elbow, shattering the taillight, all those lacerations coming from the taillight, and puts John O'Keefe into a spin, and he hits his head on the curb, but magically ends up 10 feet at least into the lawn. "10 feet at least. Some say 12. I don't have that number exactly, but I know it's at least 10. Right? So, did he bounce? Is that what happened? And I hate to be so goddamn crass about the details of this Boston police officer, this much respected Boston police officer. But the problem is I just want to be clear. I'm not being crass about the circumstances in which he died. We don't know the circumstances in which he died. I'm being crass about these ridiculous bullshit theories that the prosecution and every mouthpiece for the prosecution in the public is trying to fucking convince us all of. The ridiculous stupidity that they're trying to convince us all of. I'm being crass about that because I think it merits nothing less than being crass. I think it's the most ridiculous stupidity that I've ever fucking seen in my life and I've ever fucking heard in my life. And it's insulting that they think that we're all stupid and that we're supposed to just buy this shit. I'm supposed to just sit here and buy that John O'Keefe was that John O'Keefe died under these circumstances. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, especially if you drew this conclusion without even properly reconstructing the scene. I don't know, man. It's really stupid. And it's insulting. And I feel like I can't imagine the jury not feeling insulted. The jury that I saw, I can't imagine them not feeling insulted at this point. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I want to give a big shout out real quick to Mazza Media. He had Auntie Deb as a guest doing all the characters. If you've seen those Auntie Deb parodies, they're fucking hilarious. That dude had me cracking up watching that, man. So big shout out to Mazza Media and big shout out to Auntie Deb. That shit was really, really funny. But yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And tomorrow bright and early, guys. Full day. I will see you guys then. You guys are fantastic. Thanks for all the likes. And I think I just hit 33,000 subscribers earlier today. So thanks, guys. I hope you guys who are new subscribers are enjoying the channel. I love doing it, and I'm glad to hang out with you guys. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.